Minasan yokoso, Bobby Valentine to hanashi Show. Yeah, it's Bobby Valentine with Frankie Ramp, and we're ready to have some fun and tell everyone what's going on in spring training USA and how the Japanese pitchers are getting ready for the 2005 season. Frankie, how are you? How'd you do this week? And are you enjoying MLB spring training?
Having an awesome week, Bobby. Of course, great to be back with you every single week. Another great week of the Hanashima Show. And enjoying MLB spring training so far. Obviously, we got to start off with the cream of the crop, Shohei Ohtani. Dodgers manager Dave Roberts just had a recent quote this week saying that he's going to slow play Ohtani's recovery from the Tommy John in his elbow and also the shoulder surgery he had on his non-pitching shoulder. So Ohtani looks like potentially will not be slated to start in May like he was supposed to come to rotation. Potentially a little bit of a delay on that, but Ohtani still working, but slow playing his return to the mound.
Yeah, and understand what that is, everyone. The Dodgers have so much starting pitching, and they're planning on going into the postseason. And there's no reason to rush Ohtani back because there's cold weather early in the season where games get either colded out because of the snow or the rain, or they skip a day. So the need for Ohtani to be pitching early in the season is not there with the Dodgers. So a slow start is exactly what they need to be doing. No reason to worry about anything. He'll be hitting and running and stealing and scoring, but he won't be pitching early in the season because they want him to pitch late in the season, and they'll be in the playoffs for sure.
And obviously all baseball fans want to see him back on the mound, but the most important thing, keeping him healthy, ramping him back up in a slow and meticulous process. But obviously he's going to be hitting homers. He's going to be stealing bases. He's still going to be contributing to that Dodgers lineup every single day.
Only because he's the best. And who else did we have doing some featured work this week?
So Roki Sasaki, he made his first simulated start last week, and then this week pitches for the first time in an actual Cactus League game. 3 innings he pitched, struck out 5, no runs allowed, walked 1, and also hit a batter. Sasaki's stuff looked electric, fastball up into the 90s, 99.2 clocked in at the hardest, and his splitter was absolutely devastating. I don't know if I've ever seen a splitter move so much variance left and right. Horizontal movement on his splitter, either whether it's left or right, is just absurd.
Yeah, you see his body, Frank. He's a tall, lanky, right-handed pitcher. He also has very long fingers, and those long fingers, when splitting the baseball, do different things than anybody else. He throws it harder. He throws it over 90 miles an hour, his split finger. It goes down and away from right-handers and down and away from left-handers. It's not going to be hit out of the park very often, if at all, this entire year. And hitters are going to have nightmares after seeing that pitch. We talked about Ohtani's health. It's going to be very important for Loki to be monitored when he's pitching so that he's healthy all season.
Yeah, and one article I read about his splitter described it as diving out of the strike zone like a poorly constructed paper airplane. So pretty interesting comparison there.
Yeah, well, it moves through the air without the seams rotating very much. So it has that kind of movement that a glider plane would have on the way in until it gets to the plate, and then it falls right off of the table. And, I can't wait for him to start giving nightmares to some major league hitters.
And that's almost like a knuckleball effect in some sort of way, right?
Forkball, actually. It's like the old forkball, but the forkball was split so much that it was a slower pitch. And now with he's able to get enough of the bottom of his fingers behind the ball and then split the ball with the top of his fingers so that it's not rotating. It's a really special pitch.
Sounds similar to another Japanese star we know, Kodai Senga for the New York Mets and his famous ghost fork pitch.
Yeah, very similar. Major league pitchers got away from throwing a split finger fastball after Roger Craig took a trip to Japan with a major league all-star team. Roger Craig was a manager of the San Francisco Giants and a very good pitching coach with the San Diego Padres. He came back with the idea of getting his pitchers to throw splits. And many of them did. And many of them got hurt during the season or at the end of the season. So MLB said, hey, no more split finger fastballs, which was really dumb on their part. The Japanese pitchers continued to throw it and have perfected it, where many American pitchers and MLB pitchers have not thrown the split, and they should.
Interesting stuff there. I did not know that story. Very interesting. So let's talk about another one of the Japanese pitchers, one of closer to your neck of the woods, Yusei Kikuchi. One of his last spring training outing rained out, so had to get his work on the backfield in one of those simulated games like we talked about with Sasaki last week. A little bit of a weirder situation, not actually facing batters in an in-game situation, but as close enough as he can to get his work in.
Yeah, get his work in. You'll hear that a lot in spring training, and Japanese fans and Japanese players understand getting their work in spring training. And really, the Japanese pitchers want more work. They don't want only the 15 pitches and the 30 pitches. They like to throw more. So Kikuchi was in the cage throwing to angel batters in a simulated situation. They simulated to be a game. So they were calling balls and strikes. They were rating the ball off the bat, whether it's a hit or not. He threw 73 pitches. He, basically got through 5 innings of work in the cage. So he's on course to be opening day starter for the LA Angels. And by the way, he's such a super guy. He sits in the cafeteria without an interpreter with 5 guys sitting around the table, and he's telling the stories most of the time in English. He's got this whole thing knocked here playing MLB baseball, and is one of the real fun guys to be around.
That's an awesome story. Kikuchi loving to be a part of the environment around here. He's become a veteran now. What is this, year 8, 9, around there for him?
I guess 7, yeah.
7?
I think 3 and 3, basically, yeah. And as he said, I said, geez, your English is so good. And he says, well, I've been here for 7 years. That would make me a 7-year-old kid. Don't 7-year-old children speak English well? That's kind of an interesting comment.
Hey, well, I was in Japan for just about 7 years myself, a little bit less. So, Kikuchi, you're a little bit better than me.
And I was there, and I tried like heck. And ima wa boku no nihongo wa maramama desu yo ne. And if you're not listening in Japanese, that means and my Japanese is kind of so-so, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, you did pretty well over there, I'd say, Bobby. You're able to lead the team, manage the team. Everyone still loved you. You're able to communicate pretty well.
Well, let's communicate a little more about what else is going on here in MLB spring training.
So another one of the pitchers we're going to talk about briefly here, Tomo Sugano. He's made a few starts in the Grapefruit League over in Florida for the Baltimore Orioles team. He's been pretty good, what you would expect from the Japanese right-hander, throwing low 90s, locating very, very well, getting a lot of soft contact and moving through innings nicely.
Yeah, over in Florida, I mean, he's a veteran pitcher, knows how to pitch with good stuff. He doesn't quite have that youth and exuberance out on the mound that a 20-year-old or even Ohtani has. He's the veteran of the group, and he'll show it during the year. He'll get through jams in fine fashion. He'll be able to understand strengths and weaknesses. He'll get hit also, but he's like the pro's pro coming over here from Yomiuri.
And we just showed a clip there, him making Alex Bregman strike out looking at one of those 90, 92 mile an hour fastballs. So his stuff plays for sure.
Yeah, it's a short stroke behind his back. The ball jumps on the hitter. It'll take a lot of getting used to hit him. And he's in Florida, Frankie. And what happens when you talk about Florida in spring training? Nice little fastball away there. What else happens during the spring in Florida?
So right now in Florida, this is spring break time for colleges across the U.S. And
What's
Florida,
that mean, spring break? What's that mean?
spring break, when all these colleges have about a week, some of them even more, of no school, time off. The kids get to do whatever they want, really. And it's a very popular time to travel to nice locations, because still a lot of the United States is very cold, like where I am right now in Connecticut, still very cold. It's starting to turn a little bit, but these college kids are just itching to get out in some warm weather. And where are they going to go? They're going to head down to sunny Florida. They're going to go over to Sarasota. They're going to go to Fort Lauderdale. And Sarasota, that is where the Baltimore Orioles have their spring training. So plenty of spring break kids traveling down there in the thousands in bulk, flooding the beaches, flooding the bars. There's probably so many 25 and under kids just roaming the streets all over the place down there. So probably a little bit of a shocking wake-up call for him to see all this action happening around town where he is during spring training.
Well, luckily he's the mature guy that's here, but any young people who are there, including young Japanese men who are there, it gets very distracting with the sights that are on the beach because there's a lot of young women who love to show off and take off their clothes, basically put on a bikini bathing suit and get some sun. Yeah.
And you see that just not even just on the beach, anywhere down there in Florida. They'll go into a restaurant. They'll try to go anywhere, in the bars, the cafes, everywhere.
It's bathing suit week and very distracting. So if any of the Japanese guys are watching this, behave, be careful, and have fun.
But I think Sugano, the two-time Sawamura Award winner and last year's Central League MVP, he's good enough, much more of a pro to handle that out than some would be.
Yeah, he'll probably just look, and it's kind of like reading the menu and not ordering. Yeah. So that's the spring break time. And, in spring training, there's food and food abounds, in these ballparks. You can see that, the outside court area is lined with little tents and different places where you can buy liquor drinks, beer drinks, lemonade drinks, everything you can imagine. And also has the ballpark food, the pretzels and the hot dogs. Oh, hot pretzels with mustard. That's something you have to have when you're at a ballpark, no doubt about it. And, the hot dog is the standard, but there's also popcorn to be served. There's also other little snacks of nachos that they like to serve with chips with cheese and jalapeno peppers. You can see that the hot dogs are always ready to go and wrapped up and not so good, actually. But I'll tell you, when I went over to the Milwaukee site, and this is the San Francisco Giants spring training site, where you could get any mixed drink that you want at the ballpark. You just go up and show your ID. You could see the menu. Nothing's really cheap. And they also ask for a tip, if you can imagine that. They serve it from the counter and then ring you up and ask for a tip. But here you see all the different things from mixed drinks and cotton candy to some of the really great drinks of summer, like fresh lemonade. Yeah, that's freshly squeezed lemon with a little sugar, and it's a really good drink on a hot summer's day. So these people are working all day. A lot of people just come to the ballpark to get something to eat. I don't know why they eat that kind of food, but it's really not that healthy. It's really not that good, but they're trying to make it better as the years progress. And at that Milwaukee park, one of the things in the Midwest, and in particularly in Milwaukee, and the shot will come up here soon, is a bratwurst, which is a type of hot dog, but it's more spicy. It's stuffed with different things. If you want a big bag of popcorn, of course you could get it there. But it's served, the bratwurst is served with onions and served with peppers, and it's a really spectacular thing to eat. I'm taking a bite of it here somewhere, you'll see, and the bite was really delicious. As you see, you could get these donuts, which are really a Mexican-style donut. It's long, it's curly, it's sweet, has sugar, it's deep-fried, and, of course, there's always a chance of getting some cookies, fresh-made cookies made in the truck and served at the ballpark. How about that? Really a weird little idea. But as I keep trying to get to that bratwurst situation, and I'm sure it's coming here soon. And there it is. It is a brat. It's onions and it has peppers. And for whatever it's worth, folks, if you get a chance of getting one, it's really good. So have fun when you're at the ballpark. If you come to spring training in Arizona, if you come to spring training in Florida, it's a fun day at the ballpark. The food is so-so unless you can get a brat, and the drinks are plenty. And I want you to have fun, enjoy, and Frankie, until next week, I think this was our Bobby Valentine to Hanashima Show, sponsored by Steel Sports. Good being with you all.